Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello, hello, Doodle.
Hey, Doodle. Thanks for coming in. Kimber, you got music in the background.
I've got my TV turned down. That was my clock ding donging.
Oh, yeah, it's quiet here right now. Some rambunctious little boys next door, but I guess they'll calm down. So, what's been happening, Doodle? We'll give it a minute, see if anyone else joins us. I know there's another live going on, and it's got a pretty big audience, so I don't expect but maybe one or two in here, to be honest. Kimber, did you get a chance to watch that press conference? Because I did earlier, but we're gonna watch it again.
I did. It was mind blowing.
It takes, man, it's gonna take processing after you see some of these cases and what's going on in them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was like,
It's,
what?
oh, if I click the right button, we would get to the right spot. I'll figure it out. Anyway, yeah, I was unsure about going live tonight, and I thought, well, why not? And then, yeah, there's other stuff going on, but it is what it is.
We shall grow organically, dear.
I haven't really looked today. Well, I haven't checked the official document site for any of the new Stearns documents yet, so haven't physically checked myself. But I also haven't checked online or anywhere else for anything that new. Um, it's like just processing what I was reading yesterday alone was a lot.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look into any of that. I was going to, and then um, I got busy at work, and then I listened to I was going to listen to it after work, and then I listened to uh, Long Island the Rex monster, and that was like I had to let that sit. I had to let that sit. I just had to let it sit, and and you know um, I had to digest that,
Yeah.
and they it. During that press conference, it showed them in that backyard, and I was still trying to look in the cellar.
Still trying to look in that damn cellar, girl.
I
I
was still
know.
trying to look in the cellar.
Don't. You might not like what you see.
But
You
I
know what I'm
need
saying?
to look. I need to know what kind of floor is in there. I'm
Well, they
figuring
got
either. I'm
they took
figuring
so
either.
much out there. It's crazy. There might have
I'm.
been a
Fi-
floor in there at one point, and they might have took it.
there could have been. I'm figuring it was either concrete or wood
Yeah.
planks.
See, like I said, here in Florida, we don't have cellars like that. It's unheard of here. So I don't know what people do with their cellar floors. I couldn't even imagine to tell you because I have no clue.
Yeah, because y'all don't have cellars or basement houses down there.
No, no basements, no cellars.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an opportune thing for y'all to have basements there since hurricanes and water and stuff.
Well, well, the water and stuff. That, and if the wind blew the house down, it could fall on top of your exit from the underground. I don't know.
Hi Shay, how are you?
There are people here that do have hurricane safe rooms, right? They're
Right.
designed to withstand the storm, even if the rest of your house falls. But not all of us are as lucky enough to have those.
I'm
But
sure they probably.
we got
I'm
pretty strong building codes, so.
Yeah, but I'm sure those hurricane safe rooms probably cost a pretty penny too.
Oh, hell yeah, they're not cheap. If If you want to survive, you will pay the price. That's crazy, isn't it?
And you
So
can't
yeah,
have and you can't have a hurricane safe room underwater. I mean underground, because then the water and the debris and all that, and then it takes them, like, they have to dig you out months later.
yeah, these low-lying areas, you'd be in some serious trouble. Well, hello, the real Seth Rogers Shelley. Welcome in. We're just waiting and chit-chatting for a few minutes, trying to see if any more people trickle in. We're going to be going over a new development in the list case that we were covering the other night. There was a press conference today by an attorney there, Shannon Gilbert's attorney. I think he represents a couple of the other women that were like going to be survivors or their family members as well. So yeah, some interesting things were said in that press conference.
He's getting a lot of blowback for this press conference, though.
Hey, mom, thanks for coming. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. Um, um, because when we saw the press conference, I knew that none of this is evidence of anything except bizarre behavior, and it said a lot to me personally. But he's been leaning this direction for a long time. But yeah, he's catching quite quite a spectacle there on Twitter about it. Maybe in other
Yes.
places, I don't know.
Raul had a meltdown, Mom said.
Yeah, mom, I thought that. I saw a tweet, or whatever it's called these days. I saw one earlier when I checked in, and I was like, "Uh-oh, some people are not going to be happy with it." Now, if I don't remember how okay, when they're going to show a picture of her, the daughter, in this press conference wearing a particular outfit. When she wore this a few months ago, it was all over Twitter, and people were attacking it then for the look that it was portraying. And I can't remember, mom, if he was one of the ones that stood up for her, or if he had the problem with the what she was wearing. I can't remember how that went, but I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, some people are up in arms about it, and that's why I've got this particular disclaimer, if you call it that, rolling across the bottom. It's disturbing information, and the investigation. I guess I need to reword that because this is based on the attorney's investigation, so not the law enforcement investigation. And law enforcement didn't release this stuff today. It was released by this attorney, so it's not official investigative stuff. In fact,
And
I think he reached out to the law enforcement, and they haven't gotten back about it. And he was waiting on law enforcement to show up for the press conference, and they didn't. So there's that.
and anything about this case is disturbing. Any and everything about this case is disturbing.
Yes, mom,
Um,
he did. That's right. The problem with what she was wearing, and that's one of the things that John Ray refers to in the press conference. Um, it said, I don't doubt these are her accounts. That Rex Heuermann's daughter, she is a grown woman. This is not a child we're talking about. So, if it was a child, maybe I wouldn't even be doing this. But um, I don't know. I feel like that's some bizarre behaviors, bizarre things to be looking at, bizarre things to be doing and interested in, considering what her father was doing. It's awfully strange.
and I don't think so much, and I can say this, maybe the clothes, not so
Yeah.
much, bother me as the pictures and the things of that nature. The books she was reading, the pictures that she drew, the websites that she went to, that's far more disturbing than anything she could have worn.
Yeah, the clothing really isn't an issue for me either, like the dark clothing and the whatever the pictures were on the shirts. And 'cause when I saw the picture on Twitter for the first time, I thought, well, she's not dressed really different than a lot of kids on the street are dressed, right? It didn't. But I got what people were saying about it being maybe not appropriate for considering what your dad was in jail for. I
True,
don't know.
true.
I get it because it was like in your face kind of thing, maybe. But yeah, I don't really base anything by what she actually wore. It's her mindset, right? What was she exposed to growing up? Because one of the photos she did draw herself, and what she did draw was highly questionable. Like, where'd you see that before? And
Right.
it's too much like what her father was doing in that house. So there's that.
Thanks, Shay, for sharing us on Twitter. And hi, Firefly.
Hey, I'm trying to change this so it says, I'm sorry, by the attorney and not law enforcement.
Girl, he had a that attorney, instead of having a regular ponytail holder in his hair, one that kind of was for a
Yes,
guy, he had a scrunchie in his hair. I'm like,
I noticed.
what's up, dude? Why don't you just have a regular ponytail holder instead of a damn scrunchie?
I Hey, he wasn't wearing his flamboyant hat this time, so he's a character for sure.
He's definitely a character, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that scrunchie, every time he would turn, I was trying to listen to him, but that scrunchie, it's like, okay, squirrel, stop, focus, Kim, focus, focus, focus. I need to focus. I need to focus on the words and the pictures instead of focusing on that scrunchie. Why do y'all do this to me? And
Yeah,
then
I
when they
noticed
took
it when he turned sideways. I was like, "Oh, he's got a scrunchie on." Maybe it's because it's soft. I don't know.
and
Maybe
then
it's
when they
soft.
took And then when they took us, then they were showing pictures of the house, and he was still talking, and I was trying to blow the pictures up. I was like, I need to see in that cellar. I need to
Still
see.
looking. Okay, let me go back here. Hey, Firefly, how are you doing? We're trying to chit chat for a few minutes, give everybody a chance to come in. There's probably not going to be very many in here. This is like our third stream, so just doing an update on this Lisk story. I don't know. This, John Ray is pushing heavily that others were involved within the family. That is not something you can. I mean, that's a tall bill to fill. You got to prove what you're saying. He hasn't made an accusation. Um, Hold on, what's my phone trying to do? I don't have an iPhone. One of those kids just did something.
No, he hasn't directly made the accusation. He has just put it out there that she's very dark and very um she's very
Well,
dark, and she's, you know um done those pictures along the lines of the same things
he made
that
some pretty good
she's
implications about a couple of things. And
right.
he even said that he had information that during one of the, uh, I forget, was it Melissa? No, I don't remember which girl it was. One of their deaths, that his investigation showed that the family was not away. It was a couple of days later that they showed up at this place where law enforcement says they were. Because law enforcement has said with each victim, they can say the family was out of town, including the two new charges. And he's saying that's not the case with at least one of them. And he said he
But
took the information to law enforcement, but they have not done anything, differently than they were doing. So I don't know
allegedly, in my opinion, and all that good stuff, you know what this could bring into question, Salty?
what.
If let's just say if, and this is allegedly in my opinion. So, could his daughter have helped groom some of these young women?
Well, there's been Dr. When the news conference came on and I saw Dr. Gary standing there, I was like, oh hell, it just got that there's Dr. Gary standing there beside John Ray, and went over a couple of cases like that, and there was one he cited in particular where I believe it was the daughter would help lure victims to the home for the father.
Right.
And I was like, "Whoa!" You don't remember some of these things some of the times because, especially if you consume a lot of true crime over the years, you're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
dang." It remind you that's you're like, your mind is. And lately, we've had some severe, crazy stuff happening, and we're like, "Dang." We've been talking about the crazies out there lately, and wow, it just gets crazier. But we're probably going to go ahead and start the press conference. Like I said, I don't expect many in here tonight, honestly. And I know there's another thing happening where there's a lot of people over there watching that. So, and then I don't think any of us realized that was going to happen, whatever's going down over there. So, I'm just going to go ahead and share this, and we'll start watching this press conference.
Hi, Duty Hand.
Ever conducted. He's written nearly.
I heard their
Illnesses. He's a visiting scholar at Boston College, an expert on the Cold Case Foundation panel.
Can everybody hear it okay? I just want to make sure.
I can hear it good. Can everybody in the chat hear that?
He's worked at Columbia University, New York City.
Uh-oh, what's going on there?
State Psychiatric Institute, and he's co-created the Columbia Mass Murder Database, the largest and most definitive study of mass murder ever conducted. He's written nearly 100 articles, peer-reviewed articles, and
Wow.
he's written a well-known book in this field called The New Evil: Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime. He co-authored that with another doctor. He's presently working in several forensic training programs, and he's a friend of mine. And he's been working with me on this case over the course of approximately a year. So he's here today to do some explaining.
That's going to aggravate the crap out.
And connecting of the dots that I'm going to put out there for you with what we have learned, what we have discovered. First, I have nothing but admiration for the work of the District Attorney Ray Tierney and his task force in their use of technology and DNA. But we disagree on two very important subjects: the murder of Shannan Gilbert and the suspicion of culpability of the family of Rex Heuermanns. I've been the gatekeeper in this case, or these cases, going all the way back to the end of 2011 until now. And I'm going to continue in that role. And just so it's clear, because we've heard critics, I have not made one penny in this case from anyone, and the man I sued has no money. We will make no money in all the work that I have done from the beginning. We're not in this for the money and never have been. I'm in pursuit.
Well, I don't know what's going on with that when it was all working great earlier. We had. I was watching the News Nation when today, like it stopped, like the screen
Uh-huh.
just went dark. Everybody's like, "What happened?" And I had to go and find this one. And now look, it's not wanting to load. I just went and looked on my internet. Everything's working like it's supposed to. Okay.
Truth and the facts and circumstances surrounding all of these murders, as I've been from the beginning. I represent that family, the Gilbert family, and I represent several victims' families of Rex Heuermann who survived him and were attacked by him or stalked by him. So I'm not here today, by the way, to just speak about exclusively about Shannon, but I'm here to speak about what we have discovered regarding one of the children and the implications. Look,
Wow. Hang on. Sorry, guys. It just keeps freezing up right there for some reason.
coincidence. All those things were coincidences and circumstantial evidence only. No matter how strong the evidence was or is, you say it's not proof enough to suggest that she was murdered. Then you don't stay here. You don't need to, and you don't need to watch this conference on streaming on the internet because you will be disappointed. Most of the things that we know happened, we know from circumstantial evidence. And what we have
I might go see if I can find a different one because I don't know what is wrong with that thing. Try something. Well, I had some. I'm sorry, I was reading something. I had some kind of video quality report from YouTube about this thing. I don't know what it was doing.
The
Okay.
workers' legs. And it wasn't hard to believe that the wall was defective, even though nobody saw it tipping. That's circumstantial evidence. That's what we have here. You will see today that Rex Heuermanns' porn is matched by his daughter's tastes, his daughter's work. You will see that we are not talking here about
So he said that Heuermann's taste in porn would match what his daughter's taste in material that she viewed was on those accounts. Ew.
Yes.
And Dr. Gary's been working with him for like the past year on this stuff. I'm trying to get it to play right. Hold on. It won't do nothing now.
And that makes it so much more creepier that his daughters that yeah.
all right, we're giving out this is the first packet. There will be two, and all of this will be online as well. So if we run out, forgive me. By the way, the full color ones were extremely expensive, and we have a budget. We say that the evidence we have, and this is just the beginning of the evidence you will see today, the evidence that we have suggests that we've been sold a story by the Heuermann family. Take a look at the first page and the picture that's to the right. That's Victoria Heuermann as she tried to appear to the
This is getting on my nerves. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all might hear me cuss in a second.
press when you first confronted her.
See this picture though? This was the one. This is not the one that was on Twitter that everybody was kind of up in arms about. This is a different one. And then this is also supposed to be her. And that picture is like, whoa. I'm sorry. I mean, I know people can dress a little funky and stuff, but that was a little odd looking picture to me.
Her at the home in Massapequa Park. There she is in her little girl's uniform. She's 27 years old with a school bag draped over her. Her hair in a nice little bun. Very innocent looking person. The other picture is also Victoria Heuermann, as she really is, as she portrays herself on the internet, as she actually looks. We've been sold a bill of goods. If you look at her artwork, in the top page, her artwork consists that she posted online of a human skull. That's just the beginning. After the indictments, oddly enough, and you folks took the picture, you see Victoria Heuermann walking out, I believe from her house. And I thought it was odd when I saw it.
Now, this is the one that was circulating on Twitter. I believe that everyone was in a big debate about whether it was good or bad or leave her alone. You know what I mean?
With
This
the
is,
skeleton on the shirt.
But you'll notice she's
yeah.
wearing a shirt that depicts right after her father is indicted. For these murdered women, it depicts a human skeleton.
Um, yeah, at Woke Up 1984, this is attorney John Ray. He represents one of the victims. Well, she hasn't been tied to Rex Heuermann yet, but there was a victim named Shannon Gilbert that sparked all of the investigation and found the bodies that were tied to him. He represents her and a couple of other women that had encounters with Rex Heuermann. But he is an attorney who has been investigating him for quite a while, a long time. And this is something he's come out with. Um, about Rex Heuermann's daughter. They did some deep dives into her accounts and pulled up some stuff, and this is the stuff he found that he's trying to share with us that for some reason I can't seem to share right now.
Yeah, Mom, I'm torn about the shirt too. But now
Yeah.
the whole thing with her having that backpack and at 27 and trying to look like an innocent schoolgirl, that could say a lot.
Well, when you're being followed around by Peacock TV channel with, and you're paid and there's cameras following you, there's cameras following Rex Heuermann's wife to all of the court proceedings to be filmed. Um,
Yeah.
that was a big thing on as well, controversy as well people had. Some were like, it's fine, let the family be, they got to make money, might as well. And some were like, no, absolutely not, what about these victims? So I that's one of those, the stories are going to get told no matter what. Usually they come after the cases, though they don't come, I don't know, that's a weird, that's a whole other can of
Profile picture.
let me back. She's gonna try to explain. Okay, they're unveiling this stuff. Okay, here we go. We'll try it again.
Here is my assistant, an expert technician, Lena Odgett, who's going to explain to you these posters and how we came to acquire them and how we can be sure they are from the daughter.
These are pretty disturbing things that she was looking at on the internet. But if you looked at my searches, they're not too pretty. Because I look at true crime crap.
She drew these pictures too, didn't she?
Not these ones. Mm-mm. This is some of the
Oh,
stuff she looked at and searched. They're going to show you the one that she did draw.
she drew that one
Mm-hmm.
and that one. I just pointed at it like you could see me pointing.
So I've introduced Lena, my assistant Nani,
I
and
mean, it's do you see that shit, man? I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't with that picture. It's too surreal.
That one and
Francis,
then
the coach,
the one next to it.
Yeah.
That's the
who's a
looks like the
co-administratrix
back
for
of
the
her
estate
dad's
of
head.
Shannon Gilbert and the estate of Mary Gilbert, and has worked with me on these cases for years. Now,
Who is the woman in white standing behind John Ray with the glasses on that just shakes her head a lot?
I don't know. I don't know if she works for him or she's a family member or something. They said there was a few family there, but I just see these people, and now it won't want to play at all. She never spoke, like the one young lady did, and Dr. Gary did. I don't think that lady ever spoke,
I don't think she did. I don't
so
remember
I
her
don't know
speaking.
what. Yeah, she probably was like an work for him or something, but can't get it to play. But we'll try to let it catch up here in a second. What I mean, does anybody have? This is crazy. Woke up in 1984. I mean, Mom, these pics, right? I have a dark side too, but your dad ain't Lisk. Oh my God, right? I mean, what in the world? I mean,
I
there
have a
was
dark side too, but my parents weren't serial killers.
I'm
I
saying.
mean, damn.
I mean, your kid, or he can't walk up to them. So they're going to bring them to him. He can't have a mic over there.
This is very interesting. Here is a woman. There is a woman who's completely garroted by the horns of a deer head, which is a favorite theme in this book picture she's looking at. Deer. They have.
Now, someone pointed out this is also, I believe, a picture that's from what show was it? It was from like a show as well. Um, so come on, dude.
To do with witchcraft, and you can see what's happened to the woman. But notice, there's a marsh in the background. And this woman is laying on her back, just as Shannon Gilbert was found. Make of that what you will. In your packet, the picture
Yeah. Hey, Mom, I'm not. I think I need to be, but I didn't have any problems doing this before with any of the other stuff we were showing. But day before yesterday, out here
and
in my area, they had some serious issues. I couldn't get online all day, and I couldn't use my phone at my house all day, and at the same provider for phone and internet. And it was like, holy cow. But once I got into town, my phone was fine, everything was great. Once I got back home, everything was fine again with the home internet, but something was going on. And I haven't been on here all day, so I was just wondering if there's still something going on that I didn't know about. So I do apologize, everyone. I'll figure this out.
you can see what's happened to the woman. But notice, there's a marsh in the background.
Your internet caught my swamp flu signal. It's like the Wi-Fi flu.
I don't normally have any kind of internet problems. That's why the other day it threw me for a loop. I was like, "What the heck's going on at this house?" And so I nothing was working. That was weird, and it would come and go, and then it was really super unstable. So I just gave up, didn't do anything, and then when I finally left here and got to town, everything was fine on my phone then. My kid said his phone was fine all day in town, no issues with anything. So I wanted to hear what Dr. Gary had to say a little bit there. I need to get those pictures. I have, I wonder if, let me see if I can pull this up. Let me do it this way. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me look at something real quick. I sent, I should have the pictures of those photos we were just trying to look at because that's really it. He's just talking about there's nothing like evidence that anything happened with anybody. It's just her accounts. There was a large Tumblr account she had where she would do her artwork and her whatever she was doing, and it was a Twitter account. And apparently, she had been very active on that Twitter account, but I don't even know the name of the account. He says it, but it's all like a very, they're very odd names. I don't know if they're, I don't know what they are, but yeah, there's a lot. That's really all there was, and basically all her the daughter's searches and the artwork she was doing, creating herself, and the stuff that she was viewing online was just really very bizarre stuff. Let me see.
But those pictures that she did, that she drew, you're just sitting here going, did you see something, young lady? Honey, you need to call and see what that is.
I did. It's money you can borrow, but you gotta pay it back.
Oh,
From what?
who showed you that?
I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that was one of the drawings that she did, and you can see that the limbs are already off. You know, there's hands and there's arms, and then they're cutting. Now, John Ray was saying that, I mean, he was putting a pretty far stretch out there to accuse them of something that's pretty grotesque as a family, I think. And there's no evidence to show that was going on. Um, uh, with what they enjoyed consuming food wise. I don't want to say anything too crazy about that yet, you know. But anyway, that's the thing. I don't know, law enforcement doesn't have anything against them, so I don't know what he's going to be able to accomplish with this except make them look very bizarre. What do you think,
I think that
Mom?
I think that I think that he's making them look very bizarre, but as far as when I think somebody should have smacked him in the face with the stop sign when he was talking about what they liked food wise, when he was implying that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When he was
Well,
implying that.
yeah.
When he was implying that, I think somebody should have just went up there with a stop sign and just whacked him in the face with it. Stop! Bam! Because when you start implying things like that, it just gets that rumor mill flying. Until you're sure of something like that, I mean, I can understand. He's saying the daughter's bizarre, okay, and she is. She's very bizarre. And where did you get these pictures? Why do you have a picture of what's seemingly the back of your father's head and a woman tied up? Where did you see that? Why would you have that picture? Why do you have this picture? But to imply the other is, come on now, you
Well,
got to
it's not
stop
a
somewhere.
stretch. I mean, we can't say Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, you got to stop. You got to stop somewhere. I can understand him implying the other if they found those photos, but the rest of it, somewhere you got to stop and go, okay, I'm not going to put this out there because I don't
Yeah.
know if they were the I don't know if they were
Well, they
Jeffrey
were into the
Dahmers.
furry. Do I need to say it? I'm sorry. I don't mean to make a joke. I'm trying to tease Kimber about something. Um, Remember, Kimber, what we were talking about with the furry? What are they calling it? Never mind.
The furry butt plug.
Yeah, that's it. Lord help us all.
Furry butt.
Everyone
Was
hearing me well? First of all, thank you to Mr. Ray and his team and to all of you. And I'll begin my comments by saying that it is important that we dedicate everything we're doing today to the victims. I think it's very important to do that, to remember that we're not interested in the titillating details of what an offender
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I just wanted him to stop. I was like, can you not use furry butt plug in the sentence so much? Please
Well, I
stop.
didn't know the terms for some of that stuff. I mean, you can only do this kind of stuff that he was doing, Rex Heuermann was doing for so long without, I mean, it being a bizarre. It's just crazy what kids are exposed to out there in this world, at the
Right.
hands of these monsters. It's crazy. I can't even get this thing to stop now. There we go. Come on, what's going on?
has done, as much as trying to prevent those horrible things from happening in the future by understanding these people. I think it's also important to mention that I have not examined Mr. Heuermann, his daughter, his wife, or any other member of the family. And the comments I'm going to make are general about the trends in these kinds of offenders and what we might be able to gauge about someone who may be potentially joining the ranks of that type of individual here. First of all, when people are charged with offenses, repeat murder, you don't get hauled into court, under a charge of serial killing, right? But it is important to understand when there is a pattern of serial killing that is alleged, we can learn a great deal about what the likely motive is of the individual and understand a lot about the individual's psychology. The vast majority of people who meet criteria for serial killing are sexually motivated. And I want you to understand that we have to envision a circle in which there are individuals that repetitively commit sexual assault against other individuals, but don't kill. Within that circle is a smaller group of individuals who are sadistic toward the individuals that they're assaulting,
Hi, Miss
brutalizing them
Robin.
in every imaginable way, but do not.
Look, Kimber, I was trying to find you a shot of that cellar to get down in there.
Girl, I'm gonna I'm gonna wind up freaking I'm gonna wind up ordering blueprints of that. You probably can't even buy blueprints of that damn house.
Well, he's an architect. I'm sure he's got good ones.
I'm gonna have to write to him in prison. Dear Rex,
Oh, Lord, don't let me. I just want to know about your cellar. That's crazy. Could you imagine? I can't remember what this thing. Oh, we're not gonna be able to see it. Oh, I can read it. I got it right here on my other thing. Let me
I
see.
bet that wouldn't get the FBI to my house quick. Dear Rex, how's your day? Can you please tell me about your cellar?
Um,
I just want to know.
I just it's so hard to believe these people hiding in plain sight like that all the time.
That's why I want to know because I need to understand. I need to understand how that seller was because that's going to help me to get into his head.
Oh, that cellar was full of all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, it was all there.
I know, but I need to understand also how it was designed.
I think it was probably pretty chaotic down in there. I mean, not I don't imagine it being all like nice and neat and organized. We know he had that damn table with the hard pin, whatever it was called. I got it wrote. Yeah, I forget the name of it. The thing that went in the ceiling where he would suspend the people from.
The
But
hard
this is
point.
yeah, the hard point. This is a quote that I think his daughter had posted. She didn't write it, but it was something that she had looked up and found and reposted, reshared, or whatever. It's technically illegal to keep a person chained to the wall in your basement. Use their holes whenever you please and treat them as nothing but an object for your pleasure. But you're not a person, so what's the problem? Body cut up, played with, and left broken to die. Arms strapped down, multiple needles left in, full of drugs while your killer explains the plans for you tonight as they prepare. Um, Shared by the daughter of a serial killer. I mean, I don't know. What the hell is that?
See, that's what I don't know because here's my thing. Is organized mom Kimber trying to get put on a watch list? The thing is, here's my thing. As organized as his lists were, you know what I'm saying? As organized as his lists were. Because at first, how he changed his list as he went along. So he was evolving. He wasn't devolving. He was evolving as in his trade. He was evolving as a serial killer. He was evolving because he was getting more experience, changed the tires, used push pins instead of tape. And he would have kept on doing this. He probably would have, stopped for a little while and then reappeared. He would have went dormant and then reappeared. So there's probably no telling. This could have gone back many more years than what it does. And there may be, there could be several there could be serial killings that we don't even know that he's involved in because of the fact that, he picked sex workers, prostitutes, who probably he thought, and there may be reasons that they and I'm not by any means victim shaming because there may be reasons that they had to get into it to live, to make a living. They could have left their homes, ran away, um, so they didn't have much contact with their family. There could have been reasons that they left, which we do not know, that they didn't have much contact with their family. Um, so they left their homes. So he sought them out. He sought out smaller victims because, they, of course, we know he said they were easier to handle. But there's no telling how long he did this. So he could have gone dormant and then reappeared. So there's no telling how long that he did this. But I think that basement, I just have a feeling that cellar was a very organized place. I feel that he was very organized in what he did down there.
Well,
I
they
feel,
started finding these bodies going back, 20 years. Um,
but I think
this
he
guy was
had it
active for a long time.
right. But I think he had it very. I think he had things very organized down there. I don't know why, but I just feel
I
like
mean,
he
his kid, their kits they do, but the rest of their lives and their stuff they don't. But
right.
now,
I feel like
I imagine it was all dirty and all the things, but it was. I envision it a creepy movie like setting, not like this pristine, like not clean like a sterile surgical environment, but
no,
like
no, no, no.
dirty, nasty, ugh. And his kit and all his things were all, yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
enjoyed stuff. Yeah,
everything's dirty. I imagine it. I imagine it dirty, like a cellar would be. but everything else, like his kit, his tools, the tools of his, I guess what you would consider the tools
Trade.
of his trade,
Mm-hmm.
all of that's meticulously clean. Everything that he used is meticulous. He's meticulous about all of the things that he had.
Well, remember what we read in that document the other night? What he would preparing those bodies, what he would do in
Yeah.
cleaning the cavities and such. I
Uh-huh.
mean, if you're taking the time to do all that, you're
Yeah.
probably cleaning your little weapons of choice there. Um,
Yes.
in that picture on the screen, that is one of the images allegedly drawn by Heuermann's daughter, which I find that to be a pretty bizarre thing, you know, considering what her dad was doing. If you take a look at what's really there in that picture, there's no head, the torso. I mean, there's cutting up of the parts, the hand is already removed, this arm, and that's some of the ways those victims were found. They some didn't have somewhere from the torso up, some had no head, some had no hands. From the elbows down, things like that. And there was just a lot of you know, you can even see on the image that does have a partial arm, there's literally a string being tied around that arm up at the top. Like, it's crazy, a lot of detail. And I feel like, I don't if this child growing up never saw anything bizarre or out of the way or anything, would they still be drawing these types of images? Do you know? Possibly, yeah. But I feel like maybe it probably wasn't well hid.
No,
Not,
I don't think so either,
you
because
know what I mean? Maybe not to this extent, but damn.
she had to have seen something. And I don't, and see, I'm like you. I think that in that in that cellar, it was probably like cobwebs, dust, lots of dust. Just dirty. But like you said, I think that the kits, the tools he used, all of that, I think they were meticulously clean. The area that he used, you know, where he the all the things, those were clean, but not. I think that there was a lot of dust, lots of dust, and spider webs, and maybe some mice and stuff like that. But the area that he used, I see that being clean. Now, I think the rest of his life, as far as the house, I have a feeling that the house was just like a junk hole, chaotic. I don't think the house was ever clean. You saw the front of it.
Allegedly,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Allegedly, the inside was like that. It was a hoarding type situation,
right.
and
So
not very clean at all. Um,
I think his work life was very controlled. I think that was, something that he controlled as far as, because that was, he went to work, he hid that, he hid it at his work. But because I'm sure nobody at his work thought that he was a.
Now, there are people who have worked with him that have come forward and talked about it. Oh, the kind of person he was at work. He wasn't like this, oh my God, that's a great guy. We all want to go hang out after work kind of guy. But he was just your normal guy. You know what I mean? The guy at work. Some had, there were people who worked with him for years. And he just was out there functioning like a regular person with nothing bizarre to really, other than just the big weird guy. Now, this is another one of the photos that his daughter allegedly drew, and you can see the person looking back at the person, right?
And
And
that looks like her father.
it's like they're looking back at the person watching them. It's creepy as hell. And the victim is chained, or she's tied up, chained up, what do you want to call that? And she's being cut open. It's crazy. Um, I mean, I know there's people out there who draw this kind of art and consume it, get it, but when it's done by a serial killer's daughter who did these things in real life, that gives me pause to wonder what the hell was really going on and how long was this girl exposed to this type of behavior to where, and remember when they did the search warrant recently, like, months later after Horman's been arrested, they did the new search warrant a week ago, and they found that book on the table. It's like it wasn't there the first time they searched, right? Because they searched the first time for days, weeks. Then when they go back the second search, lo and behold, there's that book. I can't remember the name of the book right this second. Um, but that bizarre book, oh, the book that I told you about that had all of the, it was done by a detective, and all of the everything when it was like crime scene photos, but the most brutal, graphic crime scene photos you could imagine. And that's the one of the books that Heuermann's daughter had that was in her possession. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, I'm into crime scene photos, but not like that.
Hang on, I think that was. Give me 1 second. Um,
Oh my god,
uh,
I'm gonna start yawning.
give me 1 second. I think that was a book, Mine Hunter, maybe by John Douglas.
I can't remember which one it was.
Because I know John Douglas wrote a couple. I'm not sure, but that was book was like on the kitchen table. But see, and then that picture.
Yep.
See, you're telling us to play it, gonna do that shit.
This appears to be the remains of a human being that looks half eaten. Remember that Victoria Heuermann is on the internet reading words and looking at pictures that deal with hardcore. That is to say, cannibalism. If you look at the full color packet I gave you, there are other pictures in there that are so atrocious we didn't even put them up. Worse than what you see of people eating human flesh. In this picture, if you look, it has a strange familiarity when you see it because the torso shows that the arm is chopped off at the elbow. And the head is, of course, disconnected as well. And the body is being cut up into pieces, the hands, and so on. Who does that match? Jessica Taylor? Valerie Mack?
That looks like a male torso.
Entire slicing up
Honestly.
as if it were for food.
Just saying. If you really look at it.
I mean, yeah, it's hot. Yeah, I see it.
But I mean,
That's,
that doesn't mean anything.
yeah. I don't know, man. This stuff is.
This is a picture of a female human body completely disemboweled in the front.
Trigger warning, people. Sorry.
Trigger warning.
I got my thing scrolling across the bottom. We're all adults here.
Her entrails hanging over her vagina and her legs chopped off. Some of the things that she was reading about.
I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff for your kid to be looking at. I mean, yuck.
Which I'm going to put before you in a moment. Some of the things she's reading about was how when these bodies were disemboweled and cut up,
You think she can come out and sue him versus just saying these types of things or showing um, her stuff here? I don't know. He's an attorney. He'd know, huh?
the torturer would have.
Yeah, he would know, but he didn't put in my opinion or speculation.
Oh my God. That's so funny. At least I did that. Where's my thing? Hold
Right?
up.
He
Look, we got you. We got you over there, attorney guy. See, Attorney John Ray, not law enforcement.
but he
Everything.
didn't he didn't say this is in my opinion or speculation. He just basically freaking accused her of being, yeah. But he really should have left the Jeffrey Dahmer part out of it because, you
Yeah.
know, he's already, because with what he said, he's already going to get the internet screaming.
Well,
But now with that, with
yeah.
adding that
We got.
in,
I. We haven't heard anything in the Rex Heuermann case. Well, he's still doing arrangements and arraignment on the new ones. But anyway, he hasn't progressed enough, and like even with discovery that's coming out in the case, nothing yet to indicate that. Um, I wouldn't be surprised because that stuff does happen. But eeks, man, that would add a whole other level to what that guy was already up to down there. It was bad enough that you do all that to those women, but I don't know. You exposed your kids to a whole hell of a lot. What about this? The son. Is he okay?
yeah, we hadn't heard anything about the son.
Well,
And how old is Rex?
we just said it the other night. What, early 50s or something like that? In his 50s?
Well, he will sit in prison for the rest of his life.
Mm,
New
yeah.
York, New York will not sentence him to death. I'm just going to let y'all know
Does New
that.
York, does New York even have the DP?
I do not think they have the DP, and it's just not something that if they sentence him to the DP, I will be shocked. I'm just saying because it's
No, New York does no longer have the death penalty as of April of 2024.
yeah,
Court of Appeals ruled that the state's death penalty law was unconstitutional.
yeah.
Well, then.
So they do not. So he will sit in prison for the rest of his life, which, of course, as you get older, life in prison is a lot less time, but he will sit in prison for the rest of his life. He will not go, he will not get the DP.
Oops, I think I don't. I meant to do that. Hey, woke up. Yes. So they were all sex workers, and he would go get them, and apparently he would take them all back to his home. And that's where he would do everything. Was at his home, and he would do a lot. And apparently, according to law enforcement, each time he did it, his wife and children were out of town. That's when I say did it, I meant the murders because he apparently had visited a lot of sex workers, a lot of clubs in and around the area, Manhattan and New York, Long Island. Um, he was into a lot of freaky things, and he went to all the freaky clubs. And so, but yes, he did all this at his home. He had equipment and tools and everything. We did a live stream uh, last weekend, kind of covering some new documents that just came out with a list of crazy stuff this guy had and what he would do. I was reading the questions there.
And there's and Salty. There's no telling how many other murders he could be responsible for.
Well, they have a whole lot more bodies that they haven't tied him to yet. When they searched that Gilgo area looking for Shannon and stumbled upon the other bodies, they found a lot more. They're still
Right.
unidentified. I mean, they're not unidentified. Well, I don't believe the Asian guy has not been identified yet. I don't think the toddler and the mother have been identified out there. Um, but he has not been tied to all of the murders. And there were four he was indicted on, a year ago, and then two new ones now. And so there's still probably a lot more out there to come. And I guarantee some of those in Gilgo that were found are his too. They're his victims. They just got to be able to tie them to him.
And do you know if he'd have thrown his pizza crust away, if he'd have ate his pizza crust, they might not have ever called him.
They would have eventually because they were watching him. Because with the victims they did have, what got him in the end was DNA. Those hair strands that he didn't realize were still on those victims. Hair strands that were recovered before DNA could be done. And then as technology advanced, they were able to run tests on a lot of this stuff that they did have and
Right.
develop, and then they were able to obtain his pizza crust eventually. Um, he thought he was one step ahead of the game. We saw that with his list of to do and not to do's that he was putting together. But yeah, it was just, hair strands are one of the biggest common things out of all these victims that they had. And can't forget, one of the victims had his wife's hair, and two of the victims had daughter's hair and wife's hair, I think it was. But a law enforcement saying that was transfer, from his vehicle. They would be in his vehicle, arrive to his home, get out and go into his home. And, then back into his vehicle and then to the dump sites.
And one
Uh,
of the victims had witness number 3, who was ex
hmm
girlfriend.
Yes, the ex girlfriend before current wife Asa,
Yes.
one of his very early victims, had a strand of hair that turned out to be from the ex girlfriend, and then now she's now known as witness number 3 for the state. Yes, Miss Barbara Hall, I feel sorry for the bad. I do. I feel bad for the families as well because there's so many out there waiting for answers, and then when they do get them, it's this, and then some that it's insane. And a lot of them, the girls went missing, and nobody really gave that much thought or care. There were a few officers that did, but it just, they weren't taken as seriously as other cases would be, unfortunately, I don't think. I think that's one of the reasons I think Rex got a lot of things accomplished by targeting those girls. He got his sex fetishes done, and he was harming women that he didn't think people would miss.
Yep. That's exactly what I think. Because like I said, a lot of young girls, sometimes they're and it's not all, but a lot of times some young girls that get into prostitution, they've ran away from home. They've lost contact with their family. They've got into prostitution because they need to make money, because they need to eat, they need to live. So they've got into prostitution for that reason. They don't really have a whole they don't really have a whole lot of friends or family. Um, you know, they are friends with other people that are, you know, other prostitutes and stuff. But a lot of times, if they go missing, another prostitute might not report them missing because they are a prostitute as well and they don't want to get busted by the police. So there is sometimes that fear factor with them. And, that's a shame. But,
Yeah, a lot of times it won't go as reported, as like a family would, um, because that
right,
reason you said, you're going to draw a lot more attention to yourself if you're out. Say, unfortunately, you're out there killing soccer moms. People are going to be a little up in arms about that one. You got soccer moms all over town disappearing. We can't have that, and it's sad. But hopefully they get justice. And maybe there was enough mistakes made in his little planning stage, pre-planning, all that he didn't know when he was first starting out. Hope some of that shit bites him in the ass. Sorry, guys, I should put up a I cuss disclaimer. I'm sorry. um, a lot of y'all know that if you ever heard me talking. But yeah, it's insane that it's just still to me like we gotta thinking these are the people that live among us. Be
but my
careful.
but my thing is a a person, a human is a human is a human. You know, we don't know. You don't know what. It's just like if somebody is homeless and they don't get reported missing. You don't know what drove them to have to be homeless. We don't know the circumstances, and just because they're homeless doesn't make them a bad person. So, you know, they
Oh
should
yeah,
be reported. And, just because these people are prostitutes, a lot of people want to put them, oh, they're so what if they, were murdered. And it's just
and
not right.
they enter this life. They can enter for many different reasons to this lifestyle. And
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
we don't know. And I'm not going to try to be, judging them for what they did. They don't deserve
Nope.
to do the things this man was doing to someone in that
Nope.
house. Horrors. What I mean, nobody deserved what was going down in that house at all.
Nope.
And you can't be careful because there's some that don't just target. BTK didn't target sex workers. You know,
Nope.
neither did Bundy.
Nope.
So
Bundy targeting college
yeah,
girls.
those young, pretty college girls.
Yep.
Um, so you never know what will drive a serial killer and what makes him hone in on a specific type. Um, it's you just can't be too careful, man. You don't want to be someone's type, man, out there walking around. Don't be the type, ladies. Now we're all gonna be going, well, shit. What they all got different types. We can't be nothing. Just be prepared. Kick them where it counts. It's crazy. I'm gonna build a timeline. I think. Well,
No,
there's
Miss
two.
Barbara. Nobody has the right to take anybody else's life.
No, ma'am, they don't. You're right. And the girls that there's six so far that he has been charged with, and each one of those girls had family that loved them and were looking for them. It's not like they didn't have anybody that wasn't looking, and they absolutely were looking. And to this day, John Ray is still trying to find out who killed Shannon Gilbert. Um, there's some that believe that that was absolutely not Rex Heuermann that night, and some that believe that it was. And I don't know, we did play her 911 call the other night. Um, all that's in the first stream. So it's a lot that these women went through, and to think people are just out there walking around that can do this, and all you can do is be careful. We can't stop them. We can try to understand it and recognize the signs, because that's what helps you when you kind of look at them and try to understand them. Maybe it helps recognize the signs, and then to stay away. I mean, what are you going to do otherwise? Mom's mom. She, y'all look, we're all in the shower with mom. Is she still in there?
Jumping in the shower, you're going with me.
Oh man. I know if I got like still right now and vertical as I call it and like my heating pad on low, I would probably be out like a light. I felt so bad earlier today. I had not got that had that happen in so long because like with my autoimmune it used to happen all the time and it hasn't happened in so long. But when I got to town earlier, just like all of a sudden I felt horrible. I didn't want to drive. I felt like I just needed to go to sleep. It was the weirdest thing. And it's done I've done that before. Like all I wanted to do was go to bed. Like leave me alone. I finally took a Zofran for like nausea and made my way back home finally. And I laid there for a few minutes and I was fine. I don't know.
My doctor gave me some of the. I think it's the same thing. It's the odanzatron, and you put it on your tongue and it melts,
Yeah, Zofran's for nausea. It's the same thing.
and then you just swallow. And I'll tell you what, it works faster than anything I've ever had.
It works real fast. I used to have chronic nausea bad before my thyroid was removed. It was so horrible. And I don't have it anymore. Haven't had it in so long. Like I said, today was the first time I had experienced that feeling in quite a while. It's like I just could not wait. I was thinking to myself, "Damn, I live too far. I'm too far out. Now I got to drive. I just want to go to sleep." But it was all good.
Because
I
my
stopped
doctor gave me some
and drove home.
antibiotics one time, and they made me sick. And then I called her and I was like, "Oh, the antibiotics are making me sick." And she said, "Well," she said, "I'm going to call you in some different antibiotics." And she said, "And I'm going to call you in some Zofran." She said, "Or Odanzatron." She goes, "It's the same thing." I said, "I need Phenergan." She goes, "This Ozan." She goes, "This won't make you sleepy and it'll do just as good." So I didn't go to work the next morning because I was so sick. And she
Ozofan
called.
is way better than Phenergan and better for you as
She
well.
said, "I'm gonna call this in," and she goes, and I said, "Okay." So she called it in, and then the next morning I got up, I'm thinking I gotta go get me some stuff I can eat. So I got up and I sat here on the couch. And I'm like, "Oh God, I'm not gonna be able to go get it." So my best friend, this was before she passed away. She said, "I can go get it," and I'm like, "No, I know what I'm gonna do." So I went to Kroger, pulled up at the drive-through, got my medicine, pulled around to a parking spot, took my took the Odanzatron, got it in me, sat there for about 5-10 minutes. It finally took effect, not as much of effect as it should, but I was okay. So I went into the store, kind of humped over, because when you don't feel good, you don't want to straighten up. So I walked through the store, grabbed some chicken, some chicken breast, some rice, some chicken broth, some popsicles, some Greek yogurt, some all of that stuff. So and some oh probiotics. And then I got all that and got home, and I was like, "Oh, I feel so much better." So I ate like the rice, the chicken broth, and all that for a couple of days, and then I made the chicken one night and some just chicken broth, and it was really good. I was like, "Oh, okay, I can eat solid food now." But I waited a couple of days and just ate the rice and the chicken broth and the
Mm.
yogurt because I didn't want to overload.
No, you gotta take it easy on your system.
Oh yeah, but I'll tell you what, the Greek yogurt does help because it's got
Mm-mm.
the probiotic properties, so it helps a lot.
My kid likes his Greek yogurts. I'm not a yogurt person.
A lot of people don't like it because it's Greek yogurt's really thick though.
My kid he likes overnight oats, so he makes those a lot. I just don't do yogurt. I don't anything like I don't know. I don't do ice cream a whole lot, all that kind of stuff. Anything like that. Any dairy based, anything. I can't really.
I'll do overnight. I'll do overnight oats sometimes, but I usually put and sometimes I'll put some vanilla Greek yogurt in them, and I'll put almond milk and some chia seeds and
Yeah, that's what he uses. He uses that stuff too.
because I read chia seeds were better for me than flax seeds were, so I
Yeah,
got a big old bag of chia seeds.
he uses mixed berries. He's got honey, but he doesn't use the honey a lot. He's got cinnamon, but I don't think he uses that a lot. He didn't want any stuff. He's really more the fruits, and the oats and the yogurts.
Yeah, I'll use fruits and I'll use banana in there. I'll mash up a banana. I'll let it get pretty ripe and mash it up and throw it in there. And I'll use strawberries. I'll use blueberries, um, stuff like that. But I like the fruits. I don't like the other stuff.
Yeah, I like fruits, but well,
Miss Barbara likes Greek yogurt.
yeah. And I bought the almond milk. My kid, he likes healthier stuff, but he's he's been eating them pretty good though. He's been like, buy me some more. We just bought more oats yesterday, actually, on a big ass container. I was like, that gonna be big enough? Because I don't eat them. But so, guys, we're going to be trying to get. We're still waiting on more of those documents to come down in the Madeline Soto case. I'm putting together some stuff to bring you some backstories on a couple of cases we're going to be following. And there's one that I do want to talk about. We're going to get into, and I'm going to set it up to where we kind of like, have a little organized stream about that one because it's an important case and it's got some things coming up with that. It's a case about a woman who disappeared named Crystal Rogers. And I've been following the case for a long time, and there's just some movement been in the case lately, and it's going to have more coming up. And I kind of want to get the backstory on that ready for you guys and kind of look at that a little bit and just kind of move around to cases so we don't, there's a lot to explore out there. And a lot of things you can talk about with these cases. And we're going to develop as we move forward and the kind of things even you guys want, even when it comes down to looking up things we don't know much about, a subject that comes up, we can go look up information and learn about it and things like that I want to get into as we move along um, with everything. I wished, you know, streaming was better tonight with this press conference. But anyway, it is what it is right now. But I do appreciate all you guys coming in and chatting with us and being interested. Because my title is what it is. I made it clear what this was going to be about. So I do appreciate the few of you that did come in. And like I said, we're going to build little timelines for these. So when we're looking at them, we can look at these things and not always have to look at a video. I'll make sure we have the pictures we can see as well. But if there's any stories or anything, any cases you like, I don't mind talking about those and we'll get information about those as well. And we'll just kind of like proceed as a community and we'll go forward with it. But we're going to keep following up with the cases we do follow. That's the thing. I want to be able to follow up with the ones we are following. And we are kind of already went into the list a little bit there with our other stream. This just happened to happen today. So I was like, we're going to follow up on that because we just covered this. So we're going to do the updates on this as well. We will always stay up to date with Maddie's case because we just want to. We want to see that through and make sure justice is served there. Of course, Sebastian's case, if anything relevant comes up in that case, we'll talk about that. Um, all the things, true crime going forward. And we are going to be looking at some cold cases, which will involve us watching some videos, but I will make sure we have way better connection than we do right now. So I apologize for that. But well, thank you, Mind of Monsters, for coming, and Miss Barbara and Woke Up in 1984. And a doodle, I don't know if you're still in here. You may have had to go to bed. Thank you. Firefly, you were in here earlier. I don't know if you're still here or not. If you are, we appreciate you coming in and checking us out. And we'll keep, trying to grow from here. And like I said, that's all we can do.
We is working on a growing.
And Mom, tomorrow is Friday. Are you having the porch open or what? Or is that Saturdays? I got myself confused.
Yeah, I can come over on Saturday night. I gotta go. I'm helping my friend with the yard sale on Saturday. She wants us there at like at
I might not.
sunrise.
Uh, if the weather's good Saturday night, I'm supposed to go out to the racetrack. So they're having a father's get in free thing, and my son and my grandson are going. I think my dad's going, so I might go out there to that. I don't know.
Well, I can definitely join you on the porch Saturday if you have the porch Saturday. But yes, ma'am, barley alive this weekend. Probably Saturday night. Yeah, I can join you. I just that yard sale's gonna go from. I don't know what time this crazy woman's having this yard sale. She can't even make up. Oh,
Uh,
me and my best friend from high school day, we were like, I said, "What time's your crazy sister doing this crap?" I said, "Now we gonna burn up." Because she does, one of my best friend from high school sister does a yard sale every year, and she says this is her last year. We're hoping it is. But what she does is she has a yard sale, and she loves animals, so she has a yard sale, and she takes and the proceeds go to an animal shelter. So she donates the yard sale, donates all the money to all the proceeds to the yard sale to the animal shelter. So we have, and she gets all these donations, and she got some donations from an estate sale. Somebody donated what was left from an estate sale. So she's got all this stuff. So we have to go set it up. And I could talk to my best friend from high school today, and I said, "Well, what time does she want us there?" And she's like, she said she wanted us there before the sun come up. I'm like, she's crazy as hell. She think we gonna be there before the sun come up.
Lord,
My
no.
ass ain't gonna be. And then I said, well, the yard sale don't start till 8, and it ain't over till 3. It gonna be hot as hell. It gonna be 94 with a heat index of 100. We gonna die.
It's been hot, and I don't like saying that too often, and it's just now getting started out there. Today was, well, I think my humidity was a little bit lower today. Well, it was actually a little bit higher than it was yesterday, but that's the only thing here is the humidity. If it's not bad, then it feels great outside. There's a little breeze or whatever. I love it, but when it's humid, it makes it hard to breathe. But today it's just like, ugh. I didn't. The heat don't make me sick all the usually, unless I get overheated, and then it takes a minute, to get cooled off. But I don't know. I don't. I just deal with the heat. Even if I get super hot, I know a bunch of ways to get myself to cool down, and I have to know that because I have to regulate my body heat. But I try hard not to complain in the summer because I will complain all winter because I can't stand it. It hurts. It's cold. It's pathetic. It's sad. It's dark. It's dreary. It's gray. There's nothing good about winter. Nothing. And everybody's like, "Ah, I'm like, no, I can't even go outside and do anything. And I'm in Florida complaining about winter. What's this? Freaking pretty bad.
It's all you gotta pick a season, girl.
I do. I hate winter.
So,
I don't complain in the summer. So there you go. I just don't. If I complained all year round, then I'm just a damn complainer. I can't stand and I can't stand complaining. It's like my pet peeve. It's like Jesus. So I don't complain all summer because I will complain all winter. Yeah, Mom, secretly it's gotten to me a little bit more as I've gotten older, but I try to keep it secret, so I don't want to complain. But I have cooling towels. I got all the things. I'm usually always by the water if I'm going to be outside all day. It's always going to have to be the water. That's the rule of living in Florida. If you're gonna be outside all day, do it around the water.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to be around water if I'm outside. I can't. Used to, I could lay outside all day and not even think about it, but now I'm just like, mm-mm.
my bones hurt in the winter, Miss Barbara. Everything about it, I can know. I'll have muscle spasms. My bones will hurt. It's a whole thing, and I don't like it. And people don't understand. I can't hardly move. It's crazy. But and where I live, you just learn what time to go outside and what time not to go outside if you can avoid it. Like the heat of the day, don't do it. Morning or evening. See, I'm not the only one. My brother feels like I do too. He doesn't care for the winter. My sisters, well, they like summer. We were raised like that though. We were always out and about in the summer, growing up, like camping and fishing, doing all the fun stuff, the beach, whatever. A lot of fun things to do in the summer you cannot do in the winter. And I get people to do those winter activities, what y'all ski and stuff like that, right? Y'all ain't that all y'all got is skiing? Whole lot of stuff you can do in the summer. We should do a poll of who likes winter, who likes summer.
I like all the seasons. I love them all.
I think all of us would be like perfectly happy with a perfect uh, spring day. You know what I mean? With a mild temperature where it's not cold, not hot, and a gentle breeze.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you, Miss Barbara, because I get that sad seasonal affect disorder. It is a true thing, and I totally agree with you. See, I get anxiety thinking about those long, dark, cold winters. Don't like them. Hello, Mr. Steve. How are you? Thank you for coming by. We were just giving a little list update there, chit chatting
Hi,
for a
Mr.
few.
Steve.
Spring and fall are depressing. That's like the best times that most people enjoy the most. They're not too hot, not too cold.
I love fall. My mother loved fall. She loved the changing of the leaves, so it's always fall is near and dear to my heart.
Well, I guess, well, where I live in the, we don't really get all that foliage changing leaves stuff. I don't get snow and all that. I've seen pictures of all that in the Northeast and what is it, Vermont and all them places that have all that crazy foliage, beautiful stuff. I don't really know what that. I see Florida pines. We don't really have all that changing of the leaves happening. So funny how each region has its own thing, their own weather and all the different things. And what we think is bad is somebody else is good and vice versa. I couldn't withstand blizzards. I wouldn't know how to survive them, how to prepare for them. I guess it would be a lot like preparing for a hurricane, but different. But no, not really. You'd need all your supplies, I guess. Pretty basic, huh? Do you have blizzards in Tennessee, Kimber?
No, not too bad. No, we don't ever really get a blizzard.
Y'all just get like snowstorms occasionally.
Occasionally. Sometimes if it in the wintertime, if it's gonna have to be all nasty, I and the trees are gonna be all funky, I'd rather we just get some snow. Makes it pretty. At least I got something to look at that's pretty.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta go out in that. I work from home, girl. I can stay here.
I don't know. I think I'd rather deal with the thunderstorms every day than blizzards. But I guess if you're used to it, though, that's the thing. If you grow up and there's in these areas, Kansas has the blizzards. Yes, if you grow up in that stuff, you don't. It's second nature to you. You just know how to survive it. Like I know how to survive hurricanes. I know how to ride them out, prepare for them, ride them out, and do my thing. Um, if I go somewhere else to live, I wouldn't know, you know, all the ins and outs of exactly. We would get that here though. People get here, they're new, they really don't know how to prepare for a hurricane, and they're overwhelmed when you start telling them. So, but I think it's pretty basic preparedness skills, and no matter where you live. Even if you're in an earthquake region, you would need to know about preparedness in some way. That way, if something happened, and all the power goes out and all the systems go down for whatever, the earthquake reasons, you might could be able to survive off what you got there for a little bit. First 72 is on you. That's the saying here in Florida. Mr. Steve, you traveling? I see Miss Barbara telling you to be safe. Oh, he's headed to Reno. Uh-oh. Mr. Steve, you're just nothing but a traveling man lately. Are you going for work or pleasure? A meeting. Okay, a meeting. Mr. Steve's got a few videos over there. When we get into starting to, looking at evidence and things of that nature, we're going to check into, because there's some things that come up in these cases, these evidence, and I love a good evidence video to explain stuff to me. So Mr. Steve's stuff is really good for that as well, and I want to talk about some of that stuff. And Mr. Steve, I can't get over the work you did with the reenactment from Dylan's bedroom view in the Idaho 4. I love the way you did that and set it up. It gave people a really good perspective. I appreciate your work. Ooh, you're having a rainstorm, Miss Barbara.
Yeah, I gotta go over them. And I know I'm subscribed to Mr. Steve. I gotta go over and look at some of his videos.
That's fascinating, Mr. Steve. I was in one of your lives recently when you were talking about this, and the cold case and that DNA study is amazing. I was listening to that. Um, I need to go listen again. I would love. I mean, it's just fascinating some of the things you are doing right now. It's so important, and I think what you're trying to do as far as educating people who are genuinely interested in this type of stuff, it's important work, even for um, getting into these cold cases and getting them solved. And that's one of the things what I want to do here is look at these cold cases and get, just looking at them, because there's probably so many on the books right now that are just waiting to be solved with new technology. So it's really, really important stuff you guys are out there doing. We appreciate you.
Thank goodness we have people like Mr. Steve
Oh, I
to look
know.
at it and to kind of look at the factual side and the what could have happened instead of
The fair side, the just evidence
yeah.
side of things, because it's all these criminal cases, evidence, hearsay only goes so far, lie detectors tests only go so far, all the things, all that circumstantial stuff, that evidence, I like to follow that evidence. And
Mm-hmm.
entire marks are my jam. I love it, and it's just, there's certain things that I guess it comes from all the years of watching, you know, forensic files on HLN. I'm talking like in the when that shit first came out in the 80s, you know what I mean? All those years and just being blown away with what is now basic technology that once wasn't. And then watch that evolve over the years as to what they can do now. It's insane. There's so much out there to learn.
If I could get in that cellar, I'd learn more.
You stay out of them sellers.
I
Hi,
need to.
Chris. Chris, on my page wall, there is an email. If it's pertaining to a case, yes, I will look at the email. Miss Barbara, you were right. Mr. Steve has a website as well. Um, he's got a lot of good things going on. And the database for the missing persons is there. Um, I don't want to say it wrong. Is it True Crime Web? Mr. Steve, if you want to type it there for me, I'll say it. Everybody can see it. There's only a few of us in here right now anyway. But it's a great resource alone. I go there, I visit the website. Um, the work that they do is great. It's inspiring. You know what I mean? It really is because it's like he's not just out there talking like a lot of talking heads would. Education wise is there. That's what you want, educating. Um, because if I'm reading something, if I'm looking at a case and I'm reading, I don't care if it's a court document or evidence sheet. I don't care if I don't understand it. My main goal right then is to go find out why. What does this mean? And what can I learn? And I'll go find up, any kind of thing I can find out about that particular item to try to figure out what this is. So I love stuff like that. Yeah, Mr. Steve, these families, man, lately in this true crime space, families have gotten so lost. The
Mm-hmm.
victims and the families. Um, and it's become, just trying to keep that out there in the forefront. And right now, my heroes are Kay and Larry Woodcock from the Vallow and Daybell case, because that's JJ's biological grandparents. And they were Tylee's grandparents. And they kept those kids at the forefront and they championed for Tammy like nobody else, and um, they kept it out there. And I admired them for that. They, because they can get lost so easily. And look at all the drama that just the two suspects alone caused with all their madness, right? With all the stuff they were doing, all the crazy drama between them two. It became about Lori and Chad. And they're like, no, 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 wait a minute. Don't forget these victims. And so it's important. It really is. And the families, because once those victims are gone, what are the families left holding? What are we going to give them? Support, or are we going to tear them apart? And right now, YouTube could go really the wrong way with that. And I don't want to be that. I won't be that. I won't encourage it either.
Nope. And Chad just got the death penalty, the DP,
Yeah.
and we'll see what Lori gets.
Lori didn't get death penalty. Well, that's in there. Oh, you mean the Arizona? Because she didn't get
Yeah.
death penalty in Idaho. It was taken off the table. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Arizona death penalty thing is over there either. Like, I don't know. At this point, it really doesn't matter anymore because she's already going to do so much time that it's just, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Chad got what he deserved. She only got death penalty taken off the table in Idaho because prosecution failed to meet they got sanctioned for failure to turn over their discovery on time after being told to. So the judge gave him a sanction. That was the reason. That was it. Take off the DP. So that was. It wasn't like, oh, what she did wasn't that bad. We can't give her the DP. It wasn't like that kind of thing. So this bullshit reason.
Well, I just hope that um, punishment for punishment for Stearns is swift. I hope his I hope his life comes to an end quickly.
Well, I let him and Jesus handle all that for real. Once they get that conviction and they're gone, I don't. I know a lot of things could happen once that day happens, and it'll
Yeah,
sort it'll sort itself out one way or the other with some of these people. Um, Gosh, some of them deserve it. Look, like we just said, walking around the monsters among us. No play on mom's name. Her mind of monsters is perfect because really what's in these minds of these monsters. You got these Rex Heuermanns walking around for the past 25 years doing this. We all been talking about what he's been doing down there at that house. And then you got, you know, Stephon Stearns doing these unspeakable things to a child and then taking her life in the end. And it's like, who could do these things? Why would people do these things? And then the families and the victims have to, be at their mercy. It's just crazy how that this stuff's out there. But protecting those families and the integrity, you know, and protecting these kids of the who are the victims is important. You can report these cases, you can report these stories, you can present them, and you can do it in a way that's absolutely respectful to the victims and the families. You don't have to go a certain way with it. You just go the right
and
way with it. You just go the
that's
right.
the most that's the most important thing right there. Presenting it in a way that is respectful to the victims and their families, because the victims and their families did not ask for this. They did not ask for this. So their story needs to be told as gently as possible for their
Yeah.
sake.
Um, yeah. They deserve better. I mean, everybody deserves their rights. So I feel like, as much as I also feel like a person is innocent until proven guilty and they deserve their rights the whole time they're going through the process, I still think victims have their rights, and so do the families. And that balance needs to be met. One doesn't get to take precedent over the other, especially if you're going to start putting the suspects over the victims, because of a rights issue. That's a gray area for me. That it just needs to be above board all the way and fair for all of them. And that
Mis-
includes, just being responsible.
Mr. Steve, my channel's Kimber Crimes, KIMBERCRIMES. But mostly I'm co-host with Salty. I mainly post missing flyers and things like that on my community wall, just to get the word out about the missing. I haven't gone live on my channel yet.
Yeah, we're all trying to we just getting these flyers shared and sharing each other's things and circulating them on Twitter, any of your social medias that you are on, your platforms you use, your Instagrams, your Facebook, whatever you choose. Um, Really, sharing names and sharing faces is all we can do in a lot of these cases, you know. Um, so that's all we can do is keep doing it, and keep doing it, and then remind everybody to do it, and hopefully especially if we can get the word spread quickly. And that's my thing lately, when especially if it's an Amber Alert issued. Um, I think those should be issued a little quicker in a lot of cases. But the minute one is, there's a lot of things that should be happening quickly as possible, um, to get as many eyes on it as possible. And not just like within your own state, the neighboring states, Florida. Man, do you know, coming up, if you're coming up from South Florida and you get to a certain area, you got a lot of choices. You can go left and come toward Alabama, but you can also drop off into Georgia. You can drop off into Alabama. You can drop off here and drop off there. And then it's go off to a lot of different ways, um, in different directions. It's crazy, and people just keep your eye out because you don't ever know when an abduct say even like a lot of those parental abductions where they take the child and they don't take them back home or whatever. If they take off, there's a lot of different ways they could go. So you need to get the information out there quickly to those areas, into the southeast, for instance, if they're in the southeast. I just feel like they need to kind of like really work on making sure those kind of things happen. And I think they do for a lot. You got the digital signs on the interstates. Do you guys have those where you live? Do you see the digital signs on the interstates telling you about Amber Alerts?
Yes.
Yeah, and they'll give you the description of the car and the tag number if they have it and all the things. But it's just it's social media. I think plays a big part because people use it all the time. They're not watching regular TV a lot, and they're not in the car 24/7, but they got that phone right there. So
Well,
hopefully
part of
they.
the problem is hmm, the alert system in a lot of ways is broken because it's just like yesterday. Mom sent me a flyer of someone that was missing. She texted it to me, and I was like, "Well, I didn't even know that person was missing, and they were missing in Tennessee." And the thing is that there's got to be a better way. There has to be a better way. I mean, it's just like that 16-year-old that was missing in Florida. You didn't even know she was missing.
Well, I don't watch any local news. I don't watch any news, honestly, unless I see it on YouTube, when I'm watching YouTube. Um, and I do have my local news on the YouTube, but I didn't see any story or anything from them on it. And then when you told me about it, and then I had to go to social media and look for it, it took me a minute to find it. And then I
Right,
asked,
but why wasn't there any kind of alert put out for her?
because I think now that I know what happened, I'm pretty sure the authorities knew from the get go where she went. You see what I'm saying? Because they knew early on. Because I told you when she walked out that hospital was brand new. When she
Hmm.
walked out that door, I know that parking lot saw everything she was doing. They saw her get into a vehicle. I think she also, because of her mother, the communication, they just knew. There were things they knew, of course, that we didn't know. But I always felt like, because if you're here on vacation and you walk out of a random hospital door never to be seen again, did you meet, if you met somebody, who all knew you were going to be there, here on vacation to start with, and at that location? Her mother knew everything she was doing. But what I don't know is if she was here with her family, her dad, or if she was here with friends. Like if dad let her travel with friends to here for the beach or whatever, like a family friend,
Right,
that could have happened, no big deal. But I don't know that part. But whatever, they said her mother planned and helped her get to St. Petersburg, Florida, from
right,
Florida. So the Amber Alert wasn't issued because she wasn't abducted. There was no, it wasn't that type of situation. You know what I mean? But the Amber
right.
Alert specific. You can't just be a missing child to get the Amber Alert. That's the difference. And people, it's different. I guess criteria may be different from state to state. Um, thank you, Mr. Steve. I like it because that's me. That's so me. Um, I'll be peeking everywhere. Um,
But
I don't know.
the whole point is though, if a non-custodial parent had her, there should have been an Amber Alert. I mean, that's just my feels about it. I mean,
I
I
don't
may be
know that.
wrong.
I don't know if that mother traveled here to meet her, or if she arranged. I don't know. It didn't say, or if she arranged for that girl to leave here and go meet her. I just know that she's arrested in St. Petersburg, Florida, and the girl was found safe, and it's her
Right.
biological mother.
And that's the main thing, that the girl was found safe, but
Yeah,
it's just say that they still hadn't found her.
it's going to be because she didn't meet the criteria of the Amber Alert. So here's the thing: I keep here. I've been listening to people complain about these Amber Alerts for a long time now, and I keep saying it. If we have a real issue with the way Amber Alerts are being issued and the criteria it takes to get an Amber Alert, then we need to be vocal about that in our communities and with our state legislature and be
Yes.
advocates there, because nothing's going to change. And I'm not, because in my first go to isn't, well, the state has done something wrong because they didn't issue an alert. It's not a case by case situation. I mean, it is, but there is a standard to go by. And if that standard isn't met, they're not going to issue that type of alert. That's the problem. And that's what people need to be explained when it starts coming up in a conversation. Otherwise, we just run into a frenzy about they didn't issue, and then it goes on to this 2 hour the thing about the Amber Alert. And I'm like, I don't go call the right people and complain about what standards and criteria constitute an Amber Alert, because I believe every missing kid deserves an alert.
See, that's what I'm saying. And mom,
I don't think
I
anybody
think mom,
disagrees with that. Yeah.
I think mom has a link for the change.org to sign the petition to change the Amber Alert criteria. I'm not sure.
You know what? I think I saw something. We'll have to get that information and get it on the community tab. Um,
Yeah.
because I know everybody was looking that up in the Sebastian Rogers case. It was a big deal there. I don't. Do people even realize it was named after an actual child that went missing?
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
lot. Every state is different. I don't know if it's a national. Mr. Steve, Mom, y'all might know the answer to that better than I would without me having to go look it up. But yeah, there's criteria, and if they're not meeting the criteria, then they're not going to issue it. So, and I have a problem with the criteria. I won't lie. I don't
I do
think.
too. And and another thing I have a problem with is that immediately, and because first of all, um there's so much trafficking in the United States, and there is so much um there's so much sex trafficking in the United States. There are and there is so much beyond just sex trafficking. There's so many pedophiles in the United States, and that it might not even be an issue of sex trafficking, but there's so many pedophiles. There's so many weirdos in the United States that just abduct children, not even for sex trafficking. But if a teenager goes missing, 14 or 15, they automatically label them as a runaway. And that just chaps my ass.
A
Okay.
lot of cases do. I don't think they all do, but a lot of cases do, and I think that was a trend for a long, long time when
You
they
can't.
did go missing was their runaways, and they didn't even look. Um,
Yeah, they don't even look, and sometimes they still don't now, and you can't just because they've gone missing. Oh, they're 14. Well, they just ran away, and
I think they take it
no.
more seriously with the kids now, but what still bothers me is the adults. Say you call and your grown daughter hasn't been heard of from in 24 hours,
Yeah, and they
and
go, oh well,
you
she's an
say,
adult. Adults can go missing if they want to.
"Yeah, did she walk out on her life?" They're like, "No, she's married. She has a daughter. You know that what? No, she wouldn't do that." And it's like you need to believe that family. And if but then again, I'm brutally honest. And if I had a flaky daughter that was prone to doing things like that, I'd be like, yeah, it's a possibility, dude. But if I'm telling you it's not, they should take that for what it's worth right there on the spot and take it
Right.
seriously, no matter what, no matter what.
Because
I think a
because
lot of times you see that happen, that they weren't taken seriously that first 24, 48 hours or whatever it is, that first week, first few days. Um, I guess it really depends on where you're at, what agency you're dealing with I don't know. I'd hate to think that you call and report a loved one missing and you're not believed or you're
taken
told to
seriously.
wait, yeah, to wait and see what happens. Wait and see what happens. A lot could happen in a little
Right.
bit of
That's like my son. He's 32. If he were to go missing, and I were to call and say my son's missing, and they were to go, oh well, he's 32. He can no, because the possibility of my son just walking away from it all and going missing is like one in 500 billion that he would just like, boom, go missing. No, I can tell you that beyond a shadow of a doubt that he would not. Because that's just not, he's too close to us. That's just not something he would do. Just like today when he was on his way to Ohio to his brother's, he called me like 400 times. I just passed Louisville. I just passed this. He calls us. I'm here. I'm doing this. Blah blah blah. He lets us know where he's at. So him disappearing is not something that he would do. But if, it's just like Miss Barbara said, you do not have to wait. You do not have to wait 48. You can report a missing person at any time. She said she had to demand it. So you have to demand it though, but you shouldn't have to demand it if you know your child. She knew her son. She knew Timmy was missing. She knew Timmy was missing because
well,
she knew how he was.
yeah, yeah, and I think that we have really good investigators out there, and we have some that are not so good. You know, in the case we have here with the one local case that I have followed for 11 years now, I don't think, when her mom told me that when they found the vehicle and a flatbed tow truck just showed up and they'd never once roped it off with the caution with the crime scene tape. They never did any forensics at the scene, loaded it up and drove it in the open air all the way out of the beach, all the way back into Pensacola and parked it 11 years ago, and it's still sitting there now in the impound yard. I'm like, what the hell? And it's been processed several times and blah blah blah, but It was just the way it was treated from the very beginning was not good. And there were a lot of things that were not good about the whole thing. And it's too bad we can't see all the things because we can't get into the investigation that the police have. Like I said, they can't they won't release anything unless the family declares the girl dead, and the mom's not ready for that. So she,
Right.
access what they have, which I think is a little. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't feel that's right because I feel like they have more, including video footage, maybe that
Mm-hmm.
I need to see. Not that I need to see, but if I was an investigator, it's going to be super, super important. And there's just things that's really yeah, I don't know. It makes you question a lot of things. So
Well, I agree with what Mr. Steve said. The Amber Alert protocols absolutely fail families and children. Because what is to say? I mean, the protocols, but how do you say, you
well,
know,
they're going to
how do
say
you
endangered,
how do you
and
the protocols, but how do you say that one child is more important than one child is more important than the next missing child, because they're
well,
all important and they all matter. They
because
all matter.
they're trying to figure out which ones wandered off down the street and just got lost, and which ones got snatched walking down the street and didn't get just lost. So they have to come up with ways to meet this criteria to make it be that, right? And did someone see the child be pulled into a car or a car leaving and all the things? It shouldn't have to go that far. Some of these
No.
cases will be, but if you start overwhelming, here's the bad part. Like with a lot of things, you start overwhelming society with a bunch of missing this and that. And it's like, oh, well, it's like, but they're fine. They were fine. They found them. They were fine. They were fine. And then this one is not going to be fine because they're not going to find it. Are the people just so immune to seeing it that it's just another one, just another one? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those weird social things. Um, but engagement wise, I think social media is key because people engage on this platform. They engage on all the platforms. You know,
Right.
put cold cases. Florida just did the program where they're going to do the cold cases on the playing cards going out to the prisons. They already have a lot of the cases local. I think in the local jail, they have uh, unsolved cases there on of murders and things like that. But so now they're expanding it to do this big launch in these prisons. So going on the same thing. Those guys aren't doing anything but sitting around playing cards anyway with that card in their hand. So everybody else got their phone in their hand. Put it on there. I don't care if it's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You can do all kinds of things. So it's trying to come up with ways to do that and do the lives and do the streams where you talk about it and you share the platforms like Kimber and uh, Doodle's not in here right now. She's probably asleep. And Mom, and you share the information, and Arctic Fox sharing these flyers and the information, networking, and everybody just trying to keep it out there. And that's the thing, just trying to keep it out there and keep these families supported, and the faces out there, the victims. Exactly, Mr. Steve. There was that time. And it's remember when HLN came out on the news, the cable. All of a sudden, we had overnight news, and we got news from all over the place. All of a sudden, not just like our hometown, you know, or that nightly news that once every evening. It was crazy what all was available now, And now it's even faster communication, faster. Like I told you guys, I've signed up for the alerts in Florida. I've been signed up for a long, long time. The amber alerts, the silver alerts, all the alerts, the purple alerts. And we have the systems on the interstates with the digital signs. So there's a lot of good things out there now to get these information out there quickly, but I think we can come up with other ways to get it out there just as much, and engaging ways, especially for young people, to catch attention. Because we had that talk the other day about putting these flyers in the grocery store, and I will be the first to admit, when I'm walking in that grocery store, I'm usually in a hurry, and I'm not taking the time to stop and look at those flyers.
Right.
And that is what it is. So what else is going to get my attention when I'm done grocery shopping and I'm back at home and I'm done with the kiddos and the dinner and the animals and all the things, and I'm chilling with my phone in my hand? And if I'm on YouTube, I can scroll and I can see things. If I go to TikTok, same thing. Twitter, same thing. Facebook, same thing. If you do the Instagram, same thing. See what I'm saying? It's That's your downtime, and that's when you can get somebody's attention with it.
No, I think that would be a good idea. FedEx packages or Amazon boxes,
Mhm.
because a
I work-
lot of people get Amazon boxes.
Yeah, and my son he gets stuff all the time, and he got stuff today, and it's something today. It's a starter for one of those things in the backyard, one of the lawnmowers. I don't know what it was. It could be the go kart. I don't know. Um, but he was saying how this is small and this box is big. And I was like, yep, big old waste of trees and paper and everything else. That big old box, that little tiny thing, it's just like, you could do, at least if you're going to have all that extra waste, do something good with it and print these pictures on it to get the face out there. But social media, I'm telling you, when I was in the Web3 space and working with NFT projects, your timing of when you even post things makes a difference. Running my TikTok account, and it's no drama TikTok, it's just factual type, news update stuff. It, it responds better to certain times of day. So if I can get a missing persons flyer out there when I know there's going to be a lot of engagement going on, I need to go do that, right? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about as responsible creators, and trying to figure out ways to help get information out there quickly and doing it responsibly and encouraging your community to do the same. And that's why I tell everybody when we're talking about a particular case and about sharing the flyers out, go share to the platforms you are on, whether it's your Instagram or your Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Whichever one it is, go do it. When there was that possible Sebastians in the southeast, I went straight to my private page, who I don't engage with in this manner. They know nothing about what I do here. They don't know anything about that case. But here's this flyer of this little boy, possibly in the southeast. Let's share it. Let's get it out there. I got friends all over the southeast and family. Let's go. And people were sharing it. So that's what I mean when we try to get that engagement, because this world we're in right now is limited. No matter what people want to think, you could draw 1,000 viewers. That's still very limited compared to the bigger picture. So you got to reach out and get it out there in as many ways as possible.
Right.
Yes, Miss Barbara, share in all the groups, um, and people share it out from there. And that's the whole point of social media, is to share and get that broader reach, that broader reach, that broader reach, um, as fast as you can, especially when it comes to these kids. These babies don't deserve none of this stuff that happens to them. And they deserve to be found as quickly as possible, because they're
The
not safe.
worst
They're not safe. They're abducted. Jesus.
the worst thing that scares me about the Sebastian case And I will say this, just like the picture um, that was in North Carolina, that picture, whoever took that picture and then shared it on the internet, they should
Yeah.
never. That picture should have never been shared on the internet. You
Well, I
know,
think most responsible people know that.
right?
Really.
All the responsible people know that because that was somebody else's child, and until that had, that should have never been shared, and that's what bothers me about some people when they share these people's kids on the internet. They're not thinking that may not be him, so don't share that on the internet. That sharing on the internet, bad. Sharing with TBI, good. But don't share these kids. If you see a kid that looks like, a missing child, sh- share it with the law enforcement. But then don't, after you share it with law enforcement, don't go to the internet and share that post, because that is so dangerous, because you're sharing a somebody else's child possibly to the internet that may not be the missing child, and then you're putting another child out there at possible risk to exposure.
And
and
yeah,
and if
unfortunately,
you share on one platform, somebody's going to pull it from that platform. They're going to share it on another platform, and then so on and so on and so on. And then just like that picture, it got all over Facebook, all over YouTube, all over Twitter. It got everywhere. And that, it's not responsible. And it just scares me. And, I know that, you know, it's just something that it's just something. It's like giving a 3-year-old a loaded gun.
it's horrible and it's immature.
Yes,
Anybody,
it is.
people who did it just need to. I, I don't know.
Oh,
Anybody in their
mom said there's another one now. She about blew a gasket tonight. It's
anybody in
happening
their
right now.
knows what's happening right now. What are you talking about, Mom? You got a link. Go get it and get you come up here and tell me, because I'd be nosy now. Another new sighting, alleged. I mean, don't tell me there's more drama in that poor Sebastian Rogers case, because I might have to blow my fucking, oh, excuse me, my gasket. Because I've been pretty tame so far in this case, and I have this thing, and I did do some edits earlier, but I haven't put anything out yet. But I have this thing when I'm covering cases. Once you compromise that case, I'm done, and I might put you in a video. And mine ain't pretty. At least my TikToks. I'm not. I can't anymore with all that crap. What's going on though? I mean, is it bad? Uh-oh, here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm not plugged in. Okay.
Okay, are you good?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, you
ma'am.
can.
Yeah. So I got on Twitter because y'all know I got Twitter issues. I get on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter and I'm gonna turn my camera off while I finish a cigarette. And there's another picture.
Oh no.
Yep. And it's ring cam. And it's, oh, this kid's been coming around my house at midnight.
Oh no.
Yep. Posted 7 hours ago. I'm so freaking
Did they
livid that I can barely see straight.
did they claim on their post that it was
think I
Him, the
find it.
missing child.
Well, yeah, the main grifter was live about it tonight.
Well, wait. There's a lot. Who could that be? There's a lot of them out there right now.
Uh, the one that likes to come out and talk about pew pews.
Oh, that
On a
T.
multitasking. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And,
so
and I
he
done
was.
went and looked for it, and I can't find where it originated at. I assume that this person deleted their
Who
Facebook.
posted it? T. I'm reading
I'm
something too real
multitasking.
quick. Me too. All of a sudden, um, who posted it? Do you know?
Somebody named Ken Pringle in Milwaukee. Freaking Milwaukee.
Oh man, I just accidentally read a tweet by that dude 10 hours ago, and gross. Not the guy you were just naming, but T Rev guy. That's wow. Okay,
Freaking idiot.
yeah, yeah. Not even. It's not even worth repeating what was said because I might have to. I may have to drive to Tennessee. Never mind. What? Oh, okay, now I got sidetracked and kind of mad, for what I just read. Like for real, motherfucker. Really, dude. Oh man. See. Uh. And usually he don't irritate me. Irritate me, yes, but make me mad, no. But that was the wording of what I just read was not called for like that. What was the guy that you said did the tweet about what you were talking about, the ring cam picture?
It's a screenshot from Facebook. I sent it to
Oh,
both of you in Discord.
oh.
Hold on. You sent it to me in Discord too?
I'm gonna get
So,
blocked tonight.
Hold on.
oh wow.
I'm gonna make it my mission to get blocked tonight.
Who you getting blocked by? You always, let's see. What in the hell's wrong with people that they can't just do the right thing, like just be normal people? Like no, too hard. Um, what happened? Okay. A possible sighting of Sebastian Rogers in Wisconsin. Stay tuned for the update. And then somebody posted, it was a Facebook post. Okay. Anyone know this kid? Just wondering why he's coming up to my door at midnight. Lights went on and he ran away. School must be out. That he is out this late. And it was like June 11th. But that,
Well, all you can see is glasses and a shirt.
I mean,
People have
look,
lost their damn minds, Barbara.
yeah, it's clearly a kiddo that could resemble the one even in the North Carolina picture or the boy from Hendersonville. But again, we don't know when. And plus, you got to consider your source, T Rev. I'll say it out loud. I'm not afraid to say it. Um, I don't know. I don't
Well, the
trust
flipping
any.
idiot was live. He was live about it tonight. With his clickbait ass title.
Yeah.
Another possible sighting of Sebastian Rogers? Question mark.
That's the craziest stuff that people are willing to buy into anymore. And the creators that are willing to just give it. And I don't I don't want to give it. I can't. I just ugh
Thank you, Doodle.
those
Look at my
people.
shirt.
Yes, I see
Yeah.
that.
It says victim exploitation does not equal victim advocacy.
Hell no, it don't. Preach it because it's. I'm so sick of that
Told y'all
right
I had to
now.
wash my hair.
Besides, I
I took y'all
can't.
to the shower with me, see? That's all naturally curly mess.
Yeah,
I'm livid.
I
Like, I'm
wish.
beyond livid. I'm literally sitting here trying to, like, calm down and
Just I can't with either side of this. I don't even know why there's a side in a missing boy case, child
I don't
case.
even.
Um, and it's not nothing to do with the kiddo. It's but a bunch of YouTube people fighting with each other.
Yep,
Which
a bunch of
again,
grown ass people acting fools.
yeah, and
So,
again, it's a small. It's not like the entire country sees what's happening over here in this little tiny YouTube world.
mm-mm.
They don't see it. They don't care. They don't know about it. Only ones that know about it are right there in the YouTube, and they're all, yeah. I mm,
So my question is have they sent this to the TBI?
I don't know. I just asked him.
well, if they did, they shouldn't have it on the damn Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else.
I went to look at
Just yeah,
the
even if you
Facebook and I can't find the Facebook.
and it's probably a fake photo to start with. It was probably
Hmm.
faked by T Rev.
Yep.
It's probably not even
Livid.
real at this point.
Oh God, I'm so mad. It's like, you
When you
have somebody that comes
have
out
drama, yeah, you got to
and
create that.
you have one person that comes out and talks about him in a light tonight, which was a really enjoyable to be able to listen about, you know, him as a little child, to be able to hear who Sebastian was when he was in California. And then you got this asshat that is apparently live at the same time, spreading more misinformation and harming this case. It's like it's like a freaking a scale. You got this going good, and then oh well, let's just put out a bunch of ignorant information.
Yeah, I I can't with any of those people. They know better.
I don't like this
They
light.
freaking if they don't know better. They need to. I don't know what to tell you. I can't fix stupid, or I can't. I can't. People should know better, and most people are. They absolutely do know better. So they need to check themselves. Period. I can't help any of them anymore. It's gotten beyond anything I've ever seen. Um, Especially in a missing child's case, it's gotten beyond ridiculous. And I can't help but think that even as this on YouTube is small as it seems, it's kind of broad at the same time. In this day and age of social media and the impacts, it the bad person could very well be sitting there watching all of this play out and enjoying every damn minute of it because as long as
Exactly.
that yeah, keeping the focus off of what they actually did and are doing because all that other stuff is going on, and hoping that's a distraction to law enforcement, you know. And
Just
I'm
it
on the other
irritates the hell
side
out of
of
me.
go ahead. Yeah, it's crazy.
And you got people like Arctic and Doodle that are uploading 100 missing people a day, 50 missing people a day, and just one moron like him
Mhm.
doing something like that. Just it it make I hate it so
I
bad. Like when I
I
meet
know.
people, when I talk to families, I don't when I talk to families, that I introduce myself as an advocate. I'm an advocate with a YouTube channel. to give families a safe place, to give me a safe place, to get names out there, to do advocacy. But it's like the whole world's broken. Like I don't know of any other way to put it. It's broken.
It is what the people seem to want to consume versus what we should all, who's to say what everybody should do, but you know what I mean? It's like good over evil.
It's
The
not that
real,
hard to be a good human. It's really
yeah,
not.
no, it's not. Exactly. And it's like I don't understand why they would go to these certain levels and do certain things. Um, and this is one of those. I thought Idaho 4 got out of hand. And boy, did it. This has gotten even more complicated because of certain things. And it had more players involved running the mouth, right? And it, which made it way worse. And there's a minor child involved. It's just so much, that just continues and continues.
I've seen this happen so many times that I literally have to step back and step away to keep me from just coming completely out of character.
Hmm.
And that it's so not fair to the families that want good people like us here,
Yeah.
because I will get mm, I
I
know I am. I will show my whole hind end, and that's not good.
I know I was so I know what you mean because I feel the same way. These you start to get a protective state, and like with Maddie's case, somebody had a creator had mentioned getting in some information about other people being involved and the death. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Who?
we're not. I don't even know. Uh,
Let me find out.
But I was like, no, we're not doing that here. I said because we have enough. The state of Florida has enough against this dude. We have enough against this dude. This is not anything other than what it absolutely is. The only other person that may be involved here would be, you know who, the mother. But that's it. There ain't no crazy. There's enough crazy. The case is crazy. We don't need the conspiracy da 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 stuff. No, because that's where I'll have to draw the line. Enough's enough. You're not going to do it. You know.
You let me find out who it is, and I'll be in their chat.
I know.
Drop a link. I'll be on their panel because I'm not the one. Like they're not going to do
Yeah,
this to her case.
it's not
They're
happening.
not going to do it.
You Just the other day, I felt so bad because there was the case with the girl out of Washington State, missing, and then the boyfriend and the daughter out of I guess Moscow. Moscow was the little girl lived there, and something about it tied to Idaho 4. I was like, no, don't do that to that little baby. Do not tie that little baby's disappearance, where it appears the father took her and the girlfriend ran off and met him. Don't do that little girl like that. Don't put her up in that mix. She didn't. No, 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 no. There's no. That's. I can't get over that shit. It pisses me off. But I'm like, you had to step back, keep my mouth shut before I lose my shit, and that ain't pretty neither.
No,
But you
it's not
can't.
good. It's not good. There ain't but a handful of people that have seen me show my whole hind end, and it's been
Right.
a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've had to sit here and put my headphones on and just put a first warning out. This is not going to be the sunshine or mom that you're used to because I'm fixing to come unglued. I haven't done that since right after his wreck. I've had a couple of good rant lives, but I have not literally
Yeah.
came completely out of character in almost a year.
Well, these cases with these victims that you just become naturally, but you doing the right thing to be protective in the most part, you know what I mean? But you come really, really protective over some of these cases, and people not doing the right thing is very, very, very annoying. It's way beyond annoying sometimes to the point where you can't help but lose your shit.
The
Well, when it
the only
happens,
case that
it's
I
kind of it happens.
Michael Vaughn is my case. That is my case that I will come for your throat over because I've actually worked with his mom. I have been behind the scenes for since a week after it happened. So I'm not a crier. I'm not an emotional person.
Right.
There are lives on my channel. There are shorts on my channel where I was bawling my eyes out. When I get that touched, don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
If I have to go live and I have to say to my community on a decompression screen, if you see me in a tragedy pimps chat, no, I haven't turned to the dark side. I'm fixing misinformation. And I shouldn't have to do that. None of us should have to do that. Doodle said
Like,
she's seen
yeah.
that picture before in TikTok. Mm, I just can't with that man. I absolutely can't. And when he first started, he was here for the right reasons. You know what I mean? I was on his panel. He was here for the right reasons. And then you see, I don't know if it's the sub count that causes it, but you just see people just flip and they're worse than the monsters that we cover in a different form. I mean, not like physically, but you know what I'm saying though? Like just the mental abuse, the re victimizing, attacking families,
Yeah.
the, you know, I have a Google number, but you know what? I probably will never do is open that Google number up and do call ins.
Well, me neither. Oh God. No. There's just something. No. Sebastian's case, they just it got really out of hand when the dad, when Seth came up and started talking really insane things, um, and telling us things we didn't need to know. You know, I get, when the other parents came out first and did interview, I guess everybody automatically out of the gate automatically went there with she did something wrong. Because when I asked, I was like, out of curiosity, I really would like to know what caused you to assume or think maybe that was the case, that this mother was involved. And it was like silence as usual. I'm trying to think, trying to think. I said, was it the swaying during the interview? Was it the didn't answer the way you would have? What was it? Because for me, I can't do that one time, see it and make my mind up, right? I got to evaluate, just like the authorities. They might interview. Look at them with Stearns. They interviewed, they went back, they interviewed again. Those cops knew every step of the way that guy was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
And as and through every step, they're developing more on him. So each time they go back, they know more, right? And you still got to keep your freaking cool. You can't lose it. Um, so I just, I don't know. I wish people would calm the hell down, sit down. These parents that um, can't control themselves with their broken hearts and everything else. And I get it. I'm a parent. You got to be when you are no longer in control enough of your emotions that you can't come out and say the right things respectfully that's going to help everything along. You need to have somebody strong in your corner that can tell you, hey, you need to
And somebody
put,
credible. You got to have
exactly,
somebody credible in your corner. You
exactly.
can't go scrape the bottom of the barrel and have
Thank
some
you.
dirtbag out there standing up for you. And especially when you have people that reached out to you,
Hmm.
and said, hey, I have resources. I'm
And he
not a
had a
dirtbag.
team.
I'll be more than happy to help you. Well, you got crickets. Crickets.
Yep.
Freaking crickets.
And then when he did get a few people on board, I didn't approve of everything that was happening and or the way things happened, but I understood what was happening when it was happening.
Right.
Uh, Heather and Chloe went on that show, and Chris came out and talked. I knew what was happening. I don't blame these are investigators. They're going to do what they got to do. I stay in my lane, they're going to stay over there in theirs. When you're trying to get to the bottom of something, you want to smoke somebody out, you put pressure on them. So there they were doing their thing. I think in the end, because right after that happened, it wasn't long, things began to shift. And it was almost like, and then Chloe had made the comment on Twitter, and I asked her, because she's like, oh, for questions when I asked. But I think that they saw what they were led to believe was allegedly happening toward the parent, Katie and them, wasn't what they were seeing under their investigations. It was leading them in other directions, not toward Katie. And that did not jive with what Seth wanted to hear for whatever
The
messed up.
narrative he was building.
Right. And he was listening to a bunch of other people in his ears telling him, well, Chris has your mom. They met at the store that night. She was seen at the store, and the handoff happened, and all these things, and to the point where that man even asked him on a live panel, does your mom have my son? And here you go send cease and desist to people, but you ask somebody point blank, do you have my son? That's weird to me. I'm like, okay, it's all bizarre. They need to all chill out, because none of it. And I feel like it's to the point where those who keep talking about it, if we all just, anybody that talks about it, I go in and laugh. Clue's great at it. When I need to if I want to catch up on the latest, because I'm not listening to that stuff every day. Kimber, is that you?
Kimber done fell asleep on me.
I knew that was her. She tried to tell me it wasn't. She's snoring.
You could kick her off panel. She gonna get
Do you hear? That's funny, but Miss Barbara.
I done just about got calmed down and was going to take my phone and go lay down and listen to y'all. And no, of course, I had to get on Twitter. Just check. I just had to check.
Yeah. So there's no, I mean, the people who decide that it's okay to run social media and post their alleged sightings, even if you do go to the authorities, you shouldn't also go to social media. I'm pretty sure the authorities might even say, don't go to social media. Because the minute you do, you run the risk of the person in the area knowing that they know now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if
You're
these
already-
people would do any kind of research, like just sit down for 10 minutes, and I don't give a frick if you have to Google it. Do research. These monsters that do what they do, there's 5 points. And one of those points is returning to the scene of the crime. YouTube is a portion of that. Because you don't know if that person's in your live, you don't know if they're in your chat, you don't know who's in your chat. You don't know if they're watching for updates, if they're getting their kicks off because they're causing this chaos. Like, it just, oh God.
Yep.
I can't with people.
I know. I feel the same way. That's why I have to start to avoid all of that after a minute. Like, I'll have to go outside and sit down with a smudge stick and just oh my God, that smoke just like, ugh, I let it roll over me. Then I gotta touch grass or two. I can't listen to it, any of it. I don't want to, because I feel like at this point I'm gonna get mad
I'm
because
telling you, this whole platform needs a saltwater wash.
exactly, because you're gonna get mad because after a while enough's enough already, you know. And then if the drama goes away, if Seth goes and sits down, if Tony sits down, if who the people that are talking are making the ones that are making everybody mad, if they all go sit down, who are they gonna? Who's everyone gonna talk about? So it'll give everybody a break for a minute, if nothing else. We'll see how it goes. I wish they could all just come to that little agreement, maybe, and then maybe because every time I've tried to talk to anybody outside of a few people for any length of time about real possibilities that could have went on that night outside of these parents doing anything, that conversation does not last. It's like
No,
the
because I don't
brains.
got the meat and taters.
Yeah, because the brains. Is it because they want to pretend like they want to act like the brain wants to think no, that couldn't happen straight, that those circumstances couldn't. Oh, but what your circumstance could, when my circumstance, I'm telling you, possibly could happen, absolutely has happened many times. Lured out by someone. That theory, it's not far fetched, especially if you really look at the. I know a lot of y'all don't know Sebastian and can't see past a lot of the talk coming out of the interviews, but if you pay attention to the interviews and you take away the important things that are being said, you see what was really going on with Sebastian. But that's not a conversation a lot of people are comfortable having or want to have because, like you said, that's not the juicy stuff. It could be if it was spun in a bad way, but you talk about those things responsibly, not pathetically, you know. And right now, Seth and his drama is getting more airplay than his kid being missing, like legitimately stolen and being missing. Because if he wasn't stolen, then he wandered off out there, and he's probably no longer with us out there in the woods. Let's pick which one. I don't get it, Mom, why people are doing this and why they just keep continuing it. What are we going to pick on Dago about?
I want to sleep on stream.
Oh, true. That's right. I'll click her back up and see if she's still asleep. She is. Yeah, Miss Barbara. Yeah. I'm a super annoyed. I'll go ahead and say it. There's not but a few of you in here, and I don't. I, most of y'all know I don't like that TikTok Tony dude. I I think he. I finished editing a video earlier before stream, and I've had it for about 2 months now, and so it's being kind of talked about a little bit, and I was like, maybe I should finally make that little video. But all it is a TikTok recording of Tony talking about getting into true crime, his little story there. And then it goes into his drone footage he took of the King Roadhouse. And I think that's what JLR or somebody told me was talking about this morning. I was like, oh, yeah, I've got that recording. I've had that. I just hadn't. I think I'm going to do it because I'm like annoyed. You, because that was the worst part to me. You took a man, Seth, who was broken because of everything that went on. His son is missing. He's obviously not that great of a person because he's this or that. He went down a bad road and direction. He listened to a lot of people that were already trying to give him false information and make him think a certain narrative. and then you bring in this Tony guy, and it was clear it was an angle. He only came into the Caleb case for the same reason. There was an angle, and then boom, there he was, Sebastian's, and then we all saw how all that went down and how a train wreck that whole thing was. And he never had good intentions to start with. That was the problem. He didn't come in with good intentions to be anything of helpful. You know what I mean? It was for self gain, if anything. And I think it was to he wanted that foot in the door. He had already been following true crime. He started following it during the Gabby Petito case. He talks about all that in this video that I have. Um, talks about following the case and getting into the Idaho 4 thing, and so on, all the way up. And I felt like from the beginning that the angle there was wrong, and I think that it was like the perfect storm. The combination of the two made it like a perfect storm situation, and damn, did it blow up.
I just don't get it. Like, I can't wrap my freaking mind around it. I
I
don't
know.
get it. Do people
Yeah,
really crave attention that bad that they're going to harm a missing persons case, when the families are already going through so much, and just for your 5 minutes of fame?
yeah,
Oh my
yep.
lord!
And I didn't realize how bad until I saw it happen in Idaho 4 with WSU Mom Kim. And I can say the name because hell, one of my pinned TikToks is all about her. But that was the loudest one I had seen to date, and I couldn't believe it, because not it was what was happening to the victims along the way. It wasn't just that you had a different opinion and a theory. It went well beyond that, to a point where I had to question the motive for that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's one thing to come in here and have your own opinion of what could happen and your own theories and blah blah blah. We all are going to do that, but to the extent it went, and the accusations that were being made, and the way those victims were being trashed, I had a super big problem with all of that. I couldn't deal with it. Made me so mad. I was so mad at one point during all that, and I felt myself getting that way here. And I've had to back off several times and just not listen to it. You know what I mean? I, ugh, I will
I'm
be.
with Mr. Steve. I'd rather have the families trust me than subscribers, and I love my subscribers and I love my community, but I hold my credibility close.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so dead on. You, I'm going to talk about it for like on a real basis here. You're not going to see me doing the drama I don't. That's not conversations to me. And me being who I am, I don't. That's small talk type stuff. Blah, blah, blah. You sit out back with a neighbor, have some coffee, and chit chat about what's going on in the neighborhood. I don't know. I can only do that for a little bit. And like I said, if I want a good laugh and get caught up, I'll go hang out at Clues for a minute, and I'm done with it. But lately, I can't even do that anymore because it's not. It's just. It's sad to me anymore. It's sad because Seth couldn't get the big picture and stop a long time ago, and people that he chose to keep around him um, didn't do any better. They all done damage, all of them.
I agree. Girl, I'm going to bed. I gotta work in the
Go
morning.
to bed as well. I gotta go tomorrow's. Uh, yeah, I got a few things to do tomorrow as well. Thanks for coming in, guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Y'all have a really good night, Mom. Try to get some rest. Don't
I'm I'm gonna get away from this damn computer before my blood pressure goes back up. Good
Yeah,
night, Mr. Steve and Barbara and Doodle.
step
Mm.
away, Mom. Step away.
I'm
We
just
love.
I'm
We
gonna
love.
close it and walk away because I don't. I'm gonna
We love you.
lose
Good
my
night.
shit.
All right. Well, Mr. Steve and Miss Barbara and Doodle, I really appreciate you guys being here. Um, there was some others in here earlier. I don't want to miss anybody that's still in here. hanging out with us tonight with me. Chris, I don't know if you're still in here, but I really appreciate you guys coming in, stopping by, uh, doing this one with us, going over the do list information that came out. That was interesting. But we'll do this again soon, and I'll let you guys know what the topic will be and what we'll be doing as far as that goes. Otherwise, have a good night.